I was raised to believe that government can do good things for people.
When you have somebody that you passionately disagree with about something, you might have to set that down for a minute and have another conversation with them about something else important when you're in these roles.
I think we can do much better in San Francisco.
Attention BART riders.
Hey, San Francisco, I'm Ben Kaplan, and this is the podcast where we define who we are and who we want to be.
We are diverse.
We are innovative.
We are inclusive.
We are change makers.
Problem solvers.
Activists.
Leaders.
Citizens.
We are open-minded.
Optimistic.
There's hope for a better tomorrow. And you gotta give them hope.
This is the podcast that's more than a podcast.
San Francisco, they are the world champion.
We are San Francisco. Hey everyone, in this episode of We Are San Francisco, I sit down with two great candidates running for District 1 Supervisor, Jen Nossokoff and Marjan Philhour. Unfortunately, Connie Chan was unable to make it to the studio this time. Both Jen and Marjan bring a deep passion for their community and a desire to tackle some of the city's most pressing challenges, from public safety and housing to traffic calming and the future of City College. We explore the unique visions these candidates have for the Richmond District. Let's dive in. Jen, why did you decide to run for office?
I'm going to answer this in two parts. One is the me and how I ended up here and why this office. My professional focus and career and training has been in medicine, has been in taking care of people. And that's sort of been that was my career path. I ended up working in an office downtown San Francisco that ended up closing. And that was really, really hard on me. And so I started asking myself, how can I contribute to the world outside of medicine? I'm of the people that got woken up to politics in 2016. I admittedly things had been working really well. And, we are the people that threw the world's most depressing election night party. A lot of people did, but we had that experience and really realizing it takes people to fight for the things that we want to see. And so I started engaging and I started getting really, really good at having difficult conversations with people who disagreed with me politically, moving the needle. We have family members that voted for Trump in 2016 that did not vote for him again in 2020. I do think that was in large part based on having those conversations. So feeling the ability to make an impact.
Marjan?
I'm running for office because of my three kids who aren't so little anymore. I got started in government and politics when I was 15 years old. So that's over 30 years ago. And I got started interning for my local congressman. And I worked on Capitol Hill for several years. I worked in the California governor's office. And so I had the national and state experience. Even when I opened my first small business, I consulted with national and state elected officials. What really hits home the most and what really impacts our lives every day is local government. Local government makes a difference in how our kids grow up and how we grow older and what public safety is like in our neighborhood. And I found that it's the way to really make an impact on the everyday lives of my friends and neighbors, of my family. And I think it's a way to really have a sustainable impact on the future of our city.
What are the highlights of District 1? What does that encompass? What are the important things that you try to let people know when they don't know what District 1 means?
District 1 is the Upper West Side of the city. District 1 used to just be the Richmond. And I will tell people, it used to be Arguello to the Farallones. We lost the Farallones in redistricting. But we're Arguello to the ocean. And now we have the north side of Lake Street and Seacliff. So it really is geographically the Upper West Side of San Francisco. It's a special place. We just got voted one of the best neighborhoods in the country, the world. It's in the world, in my opinion.
Marjan, your thoughts?
It's one of the most diverse districts in every way. The topography. I live 8 houses down from Golden Gate Park. I live half a mile away from the beach. We have amazing restaurants, amazing small businesses. Anything from you could take yoga or Pilates or take a ceramics class or have any type of cuisine that you can think of. People come here for that diversity. The Richmond District has always been wonderful. You see it being addressed in different news outlets, top coolest places to live on the planet. And I still believe that. I do think that a local supervisor can make things better and can make things more inclusive and can make things even more diverse and wonderful and unique so that we continue to get new residents and new visitors.
What makes you stand out from other candidates? It's District 1. There's a number of candidates running. What makes you stand out as a candidate?
Nobody tapped me on the shoulder and said, you're going to run for our money. I'm running against 2 machine candidates who have run before. I'm up against a lot. And my campaign is driven purely by my heart and the community that has supported me. I have a lot of people that are excited for me to run and have contributed financially and with their time. And so I am the grassroots candidate in this campaign.
Marjan, what's your rationale?
I like to think that I have a diverse experience, both in the private sector, in the public sector, in the nonprofit sector, as well as in the community. What's happened over several years is this political machine has been running the government of San Francisco, and what you have is just people waiting in line to fill the next slot. And I think to have a true neighborhood voice in City Hall, but also a voice where there's been some experience in the private sector, right? As well as in the neighborhood, as well as in the community. I was raised to believe that government can do good things for people. That was taught to me by my first mentors in government and politics. And I think that in San Francisco, we've lost our way a little in that. And it's time to move in a new direction and see what we can do to really make things better.
One person you're running against is the sitting Board of Supervisors member, Connie Chan. What is the difference between you and Connie Chan?
We do have a lot in common. I think I have, in just being in politics in San Francisco, the biggest issues for me in our country are gun violence prevention and women's rights. And I'm not running against anybody that's trying to put assault weapons on the street or trying to take away women's rights. So the issues are really just like, how are we going to run our neighborhood? And I have a difference of opinion with her on how we prioritize traffic and moving people to and through the city. I'm very, very much focused on investing in sustainable transit options, making it easier. I'm not trying to take away your car, but I want to make it easier for your neighbor to get on the bus or easier for you to take the bus if you want. And I want to make that a priority in the district in a way that I have not heard from any other candidate.
Marjan, agree?
Looking at the Richmond District and District 1, this is the race where the 2 candidates couldn't be more different. I'm running against someone who campaigned in 2020 on dismantling the police, and the top issue in my campaign is increasing resources for police, is increasing recruiting, and public safety is number 1. We're running against a candidate who embraced for a very long time 100% affordable housing only, subsidized housing, which doesn't exist much anymore. And I believe that we need to create housing for all levels of income, especially to keep the middle class in San Francisco, which is atrophied so terribly. I also think my approach is very different. It's really important to be present in the neighborhood, to be responsive to residents, whether or not you agree with that resident. I'm running.
You just mean in terms of someone has an issue, yes. They're not getting attention from the city.
Right.
Clearly it's something that's worthy of attention,
right.
That you see that as your role.
And that's what a supervisor is meant to do, to act as that voice for the neighborhood, that voice for residents, which means we should have a district office here in the neighborhood and not make it so that if anyone wants service, they have to go all the way down to City Hall to speak to or interact or get some advocacy from their supervisor.
I'm running for the Board of Trustees because City College holds the key to solving San Francisco's toughest challenges.
San Francisco is a safe place to deal drugs.
No one is really in charge.
I do not have confidence in City Hall.
We might propose a solution.
Every time you put up a gatekeeper, you put up the potential for corruption.
If you have hope, if you think you can solve it, you'll work towards it. You're not alone. If you care about safe streets and a fully staffed police department, care about City College. Will you join me?
Say it's the day after the election. You've won. Congratulations. You're on the Board of Supervisors. You're given a magic wand to get one change through that would benefit the people of District 1. And you don't need other support. You don't need other voters. You don't need any of that. But it's one thing, but it's like, a practical thing. What would you use your magic wand on? Jen, your thoughts?
My magic wand is traffic calming, making sure that we have a handle on that in the district. That is my magic wand. You physically look down Cabrillo, and so I live close to Cabrillo, and I was in my office actually writing an op-ed on street safety, and I hear this loud noise, and we're close to Safeway, so we hear noises all the time, and then I was told, hey, you got to go outside. A car has crashed into your neighbor's house, and you see our streets are just. If people there's nothing in the design of our streets that tells people to slow down. And those are the things, there's some really low hanging fruit that I would like to do with traffic calming. And then again, investing in sustainable transit, making it easier for people to bike.
Marjan, you're nodding your head.
We need more police officers. I think the police officer shortage is so severe that we haven't yet seen the impact of that. And while we have seen things turn around in the city, and while crime has gone down in certain areas by a percentage point here in the Richmond, we're seeing the severity of crime get a little bit worse. We need to be working towards a community policing model where we do have officers on our streets. But because of this shortage, we're unable to have the footbeats that are needed. And that's something that I think will address many of our problems, not all of them. But when you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs and what we need as human beings around psychological and physical safety, that's number one. And if we don't have that, nothing else that we do will matter.
Do you think that San Francisco city government is corrupt? Do you think it's systemic or no?
I think it's a little bit of both. We just saw the most powerful office in the world, the person holding that seat saying, it's time for me to step back and I'm putting my country before self. I think the service element in public service is sometimes forgotten. And what's happened in San Francisco is we've seen, it's human nature, relinquishing that power. We don't see that happen a lot. I think we can do much better in San Francisco. I think we can do a lot better in reforming our charter. I was just watching some of the Democratic Central Committee interviews and people talking about this charter in 1932 and what happened in 1932. Well, let's remember in 1932, women had just been able to vote for 12 years and I couldn't have married my husband back then because of my race. And so I don't think aspiring to what we did in 1932 is the way to go. I think we need more leaders who are willing and able to think outside the box on how we can streamline our government so that there's more transparency and that the systems that we have in place will lead to more effective government. We're seeing that with our boards and commissions as well.
Jen, what's your rationale?
Absolutely. Corruption absolutely exists in our government. There are some things that I will be able to do and some things that I will not be able to do. And the things that I can do are the way that I approach the situation and leading by example. I think that we need more leaders. I like to support leaders, be the leader, invest in leaders that are committed to working with people to put the issues of the city above ego. When you have somebody that you passionately disagree with about something, you might have to set that down for a minute and have another conversation with them about something else important when you're in these roles. And so prioritizing that and supporting people that have that same mentality is really, really important.
One cause that's close to my heart, an institution of San Francisco that gets overlooked a lot, is City College of San Francisco. It's the Community College of San Francisco. It was once the largest college in California. What do you think the role is, and what can we do to strengthen institutions like that?
City College is so important for San Francisco, especially as we talk about policing, we talk about I don't think we have nursing, but if we can find a really good pipeline for a lot of our students to stay in the city and to invest in these essential jobs in this workforce, develop this workforce here in the city, that helps. And it is a rising tide that lifts all boats.
Marjan, agree?
I think that investing and focusing on strong leadership for City College, not everyone needs to go to a 4-year university or get a master's there are different paths to living a productive life. And I think that ensuring that those opportunities are available is critically important just for the future, whether you are training to become a police officer or a tradesperson. We need to re-examine how we talk about education, which has been so financially prohibitive to so many people. And I think City College of San Francisco is a pathway to that.
There might be people listening to this podcast voting who they're going to vote and they're not going to have a ton of information. If you have just like 15 seconds and you just want them to remember something about why they should vote for you, what would that be?
If you're happy with the way things are going in our neighborhood, by all means, stick with the status quo. If you think we can do better and that there's a better way, I hope you'll join us and join my campaign and move us in the right direction.
Jen, why?
If I get elected, I'll be the only member of the Board of Supervisors with a medical background, which will be very helpful for our city as we deal with things like the fentanyl crisis. Only candidate in the city's supervisor at the supervisor level to be formally endorsed by every town for gun safety. And so making our city safer and for our kids is my top priority.